Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Yesterday we talked about drugstore makeup in a starter kit. Today I want to talk to you guys about a brush starter kit because I don't know about you guys, but when I first started watching YouTube videos, I was being hit a lot with Sigma brushes and Morphe brushes, and while those brushes are really nice, I personally don't own any Sigma brushes because they are so dang expensive. I base my brush choices off of predominantly drugstore brands, two in particular, e.l.f. and Ecotools, and I still use those all the time. So that I would show you guys the brushes that I pretty much use on a regular basis that come from those two brands. First off, I use my fingers actually quite a bit in my daily makeup routine. I use my fingers to put eyeshadow primer on, face primer. That's how I blend out my highlighter. I typically will blend out my concealer, depending on how heavy my concealer is, with my fingers. So I do use my fingers a lot in my routine, but I also use some of these brushes. The first one I want to talk about is this Real Techniques blending sponge. I really like this makeup sponge. It is super squishy and super soft, and I, as you guys can tell from where you see the grime on here, use mostly the flat side. I use that to, pack on my BB cream or my foundation. They also talk about how they designed this to be used as a flat surface to blend onto your face, but also they have a pointed side to get into the crevices and to get more precision. I don't really use this for that. I tend to be able to get all the application I want just using the flat side, but I think this is a really great option as opposed to shelling out the $20 for a beauty blender. I have had really great success using this. Also for my face, in the winter, as I mentioned before, I tend to wear more concealer underneath my eyes. I do, as I mentioned previously, like to use my fingers for some of it, but I also really like the Flawless Concealer Brush. I think that this really can put the product on and blend it out pretty smoothly without using my fingers. You also may not want to use your fingers for whatever particular reason, but I have used this brush before and I tend to use it more in the winter, but it is a really great go-to concealer brush. I also have the small tapered brush from e.l.f. I use this, believe it or not, for bronzer. I really like to put my bronzer with a bit of precision on my face. I also do it with contouring as well in the hollows. This brush works really well for that. It has been my go-to for a very long time. I like this quite a bit. I've also seen people use this for under eye setting powder. If they wanted to put it on there, you get a really precise lay of this. I just like that this brush can serve multiple purposes and it's pretty inexpensive. I also have the e.l.f. Professional Total Face Brush. This I have found is really good at putting on blush. It's not the softest brush ever that I could possibly own, but it does the job and it's just $1. So again, you have to kind of weigh out the fact that yes, sometimes the more inexpensive brushes are not going to be as luxurious, but they can still do the job. The other brushes that I have are eye brushes. This is where I think you want to make sure that you have, quality brushes. I really like the Ecotools brushes in particular. I recently talked to you guys about this set of brushes in a recent favorites. I really am loving this for my everyday eye look. This particular one is great for putting on powder shadow onto your lid. This works really well as a setter for your eyeliner, or if you don't want to use anything but shadow for liner, this can work for the top lash line and the bottom lash line. I also have the second one here. This one is a really nice crease packer-on. Crease packer-on. That's the technical terms. This I think is really good for putting crease color in. I just like that you can do the windshield wiper motions really easily. It is such a nice soft brush and it's very flexible, so it works well for that. And then this one on here, they say it's a smudger, but I personally like to use it for my brow bone highlight. I think that it can really put some product on there without, again, being too harsh. I also really love dearly the e.l.f. Crease Brush. I think this is a nice fluffy crease brush. I like to blend out my crease so that I don't have any harsh lines with it. And again, I think this brush is amazing. I have not seen this brush hit the stores yet, but if you guys have, let me know in the comments below. I think it's only online for right now, but seriously, it is so worth the purchase. And the last brush that I have is also from Ecotools. It is just a flat shader brush. I really like brushes like this for putting on cream-based eyeshadow. I used to use my finger and I felt like I was wasting a lot of product and not getting a lot of pigment, but once I switched over to using this, I really was able to use less product, get more pigment on there, and it just is all around a better look. So those are all of the actual brushes that I would recommend, but I also want to do a little PSA about the importance of washing your brushes. I am a little bit obsessive about washing brushes. I have always been this way. I literally clean my brushes every day before I'm done my makeup routine, and then I deep clean them once a week. It may seem like a lot of maintenance or might take you a lot of time. It literally takes me like a minute to clean mine every day, if that. And it stops bacteria from building up in your brushes. There's nothing worse than using dirty brushes and your, mixing product. It's got bacteria growing in it. Your face has oils and other things on it that you're putting back onto it. It just isn't really a good look. I wouldn't recommend it. So to clean it every day, you guys are probably tired of me talking about this on my channel if you've been around long enough, but it's the e.l.f. Daily Brush Cleaner. This stuff is great. I literally use it every single day. All I do is I spray my brushes, and I actually have a face cloth that I just keep in my lap when I'm doing my makeup so I can wipe my fingers off or my hands or anything like that, and I just wipe them on there and I put them back up with the brush top up, and that's all I do. And I've never really had dirty brushes because of it, because it's so simple, it's so easy, and I think it also helps with the maintaining the niceness of my brushes. They have held their shape really nicely. They've held on for a really long time. Like I've had this one for probably close to 5 or 6 years, and it's still going on strong. The other thing I do it on Sundays just to end the week. And what I normally will use is the e.l.f. Brush Shampoo. I have used a few other more expensive varieties, and the reality is this does just as well. Also, I've been in a pinch before where I didn't have any brush cleaner, and I've used dish soap, and dish soap actually really works very well. I might actually start using some dish soap after I finish up this. The nice thing about doing a deep clean is things like my makeup sponges. Those suck up because they have like pores in here, as a sponge would. It sucks up product that I can't get out in a spray. Same thing with something especially like this, where it's going to get the cream product wedged deep inside the brush. Doing the deep cleaning, all I do is I wet the brush, I put a little soap in my hand, and then I press down and I kind of work the soap through the brush. It really releases that deeply embedded product that the daily clean may have gotten a little bit of surface level wise, but after a week of using your brushes, you're going to, even though you might clean them every single day, still get product locked deeper into the brush, closer to the I think this is the fennel, whatever this is called, the metal piece here. And so it's good. It's just, I love seeing like the, like especially with this, with my bronzer, seeing the color powder kind of ooze out. I know that I've done a good job cleaning and massaging the soap in here. So that's kind of my best tip for you guys, is to really keep your brushes clean. It's really super important. My other tip for you guys is e.l.f. brushes, I have to admit, can be kind of hit or miss. I've had instances before where I've bought brushes online and one brush worked really well, and then I repurchased it a little bit later and it fell apart. So I would recommend, as much as possible, buying the brushes in store. I know that e.l.f. really has come a long way. It's in, something as simple as 7-Elevens these days. I mean, e.l.f. is everywhere. Same with Ecotools. I find that any place that has any kind of makeup brushes typically has Ecotools. I know Ulta does, Walmart does. I know my local CVS does as well. So most of these things you guys can find really locally. I found everything at my Walmart except for this crease brush. Again, I'm not sure it's in stores yet, but if you can ever make an e.l.f. purchase, I would definitely recommend this one. I've bought a few of these e.l.f. brushes, crease brushes online, and I've had them all come out the same way. So they may have been, doing more work to improve their brushes overall, but I just want to warn you guys that there can be a little bit of inconsistency with the e.l.f. brushes. All right, guys, I totally want to hear from you about any other drugstore-based brush recommendations that you might have. I have definitely not tried all of them, but I'd love to hear from you, and I'll talk to you in tomorrow's video. Bye.